Wow. I forgot to tell you, I changed the intro for this show.
It looks good.
Yeah. So, wow, we got a show going on and we've got everybody down in the green room and then some. I forgot to tell Roman that we weren't going to do a whole lot. So he decided he'd like to sit in. And we said, okay, because he's here every week and everybody identifies with Roman and you just never know. So
that's right.
Before we get started, Linda has a request. She needs a pit bull rescue. Okay.
I need a pit bull rescue.
Linda needs a pit bull rescue.
A lot of them you have to email. I just don't have time to sit down and email all the pit rescues. So if any are watching and you happen to have room for a little pit bull that came up on my property yesterday, if you can contact me, that would be great.
Linda at GPRescue.com right there. So
that's right.
All right. Well, now we probably need to get going here. Oh, I kind of promised some people that I would ask you if we can get a little Rue update first.
Rue is doing fantastic. She is acting like a puppy. She's great on a leash. She's potty trained. She's happy. She's social. She's getting along with all my dogs. And she loves to interact with them. And she's found her voice.
Imagine
yeah,
that.
When the little pit bull came up on her property yesterday, she went and went out there and was barking. And for a little girl, she's got a deep bark.
All right.
She's doing fantastic.
Good. And that's awesome. So, All right. Well, it's time to start bringing our founders up. So
yes.
I'm just going to bring them up one at a time. We'll introduce them. I'm just going to start in the row that they're starting the order. They're in the green room. So I think I'll bring Roman up first so he can just kind of get bored. All right. Hi, Roman. All right, everybody. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Everybody, this is Judy with Peer Rescue and Sanctuary in Colorado. Okay. All right. Next, we have Melise. Hi, Melise.
Hi, how are you?
She's with Great Pyrenees Rescue Society in Spring, Texas. Okay. Then we have, hi, Carol.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
Great Pyrenees Rescue, Montana. And wow, we've got 4 rescues from all over the country here. And I think I would, first of all, I'm going to start looking at some of these comments, all right? And Melise, Stacy's here and said hello. And Sam says, if I'm not mistaken, we have a pit rescue here in Knoxville. Okay. So
a little too far for me, Sam. Thanks anyway.
A little bit. So then we have a request for a Betty update, and I bet you that was Nancy. Do we have any updates on Betty?
Betty's doing really well. She's improving every day. She's still having some digestive issues, but that's to be expected. And she's working with different foods and different things that she tolerates, but she's doing really good.
Good. And hi, Maureen. She thanks everybody for everything we're doing. And Maureen's watching from Wisconsin. Right?
Thank you, Maureen.
And we got to say, and Sam says you're welcome. And we got to say hi to Rena. Okay, hi, Rena.
Hi, Rena.
She's also with the Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. So anyway, so why don't we just start with, well, we're going to go in order. Linda's first. She's up top. So how did the rescue get started? Okay, we'll ask Carol the same way.
Right on. My dog's going off now too because he heard that
dog. Okay.
Good dogs.
The show is about dogs, so you might hear some barking. Okay.
That's right. So how we got started was several years ago. Ken and I bought 21 acres in St. Clair, Missouri, as a retirement place for us to go. So I got my very first Pyrenees. I went to every Pyrenees page I can find to learn all I possibly could about her. And in that process, I became a moderator on the advice and support page. And in that advice and support page, I found that Missouri was really, really hurting for rescue for our breed. I mean, just, and then Ken and I talked about it for a long time about, we had the space, we had the compassion, the desire, the means. Why not? And that's where we are today.
Wow. Thank you. Carol, you're
Yes.
next. You're in Montana. You're covering a kind of a tough state down there in Utah, aren't you?
Yes, definitely a tough state.
How did you get that going? Yours is interesting.
As far as getting Utah with us, I'm not sure how that happened. It just
No,
kind
the
of
question is, how did your rescue get started?
How'd the rescue get started? Way before I came along. Back in 2004, a couple of ladies here started it up, and then it just kind of tapered off, fell off, and I started it back up in 2015, and it's grown a lot in that time.
Wow. Montana and Utah. Melise.
Hi.
You cover a large area. How did your rescue get started? Did you see a white dog and say, let's go save that dog? It would be fun.
I have no idea why. And people ask me this, why do you love Pyrenees? And I just remember from a small child, I always wanted a Pyrenees. And, I kept that in the back of my head. I always wanted one. And, and then when I saw there was such a need in Texas, and there wasn't the rescue wasn't being met. I mean, the number of Pyrenees in Texas is just mind-boggling, and I just knew that I could do it, and I just started pulling dogs from shelters and finding them homes.
Wow.
And
Judy,
started shipping
you're
them.
up in Colorado. You're up in the high country, aren't you?
Yeah. So Michael and I did not start this rescue. This was started by an older couple named John and Linda Kreider back in 1994. Yep. And I think we're probably the oldest peer rescue, if not one of the oldest ones in the country. Mm-hmm. But they ran it for several years as a small mom and pop kind of thing, and they didn't get a 501c3 or incorporate or any of that kind of stuff until the Great Pyrenees Club of America needed some rescues to balance out their nonprofit status, because they needed to do something good for the public. And so they asked them if they would be a rescue with Great Pyrenees Club for America. And at that point, they started getting kind of serious about it. So Michael and I had volunteered with them. And I don't know, at one point they just said, hey, we need to retire. You need to take over. So here we are. We bought our own place, built our own kennels, and moved out here from Black Forest area. But we've been running it for about the last 8 years. So
wow. Okay. And all right. So Linda, how do you become a foster with Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri?
Well, first you apply.
Okay.
You fill out a foster application. Well, that's how you begin. And then you have to meet certain requirements. You have to have a fenced in yard. You have to have a vet check or do background checks on you. Home checks, knowledge of the breed. Hopefully knowledge of the breed. Doesn't always work that way. And compassion. Make sure that you have compassion. Some little bit of training behind you, at least basic training behind you. Multiple interviews. We do multiple interviews with our fosters and adopters. And then, I have to say that my fosters have been with me. Most of them have been with me from the beginning. They're family to us.
All right. Carol, how do you become a foster in Montana?
Well, they do fill out an application. It's actually the same one that we use for adopters.
Okay, so you got the same requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's the same thing, except with Montana, it's a lot different because Montana is such a spread out state. And sometimes we have to go by video or photo rather than a home visit to people. And sometimes it's that way with adopters as well as fosters.
Gotcha. And yeah, you only got a population of about 10 up there.
I think so.
Elise,
Hello.
what about GPRS?
Well, our application, same kind of process, just, vet check, home visit, and we do video calls. All of that kind of started with COVID anyway. But, we don't require them to really have a knowledge of the breed as long as they're willing to learn. Because I find, it depends on the person. Some people can learn so fast and I have a wonderful adopter, and it's amazing what she's learned in 1 year that, some people that have had peers 15 years don't know. They want to learn and they soak up the knowledge. So, knowing the breed is not necessarily for fosters, usually requires some type of large breed knowledge, at least, not just have Shih Tzus in your life, your whole life, but have had some type of large breed in their lives.
But unless they've raised Chihuahuas, they probably qualify for peers then.
Yeah.
Wow. And so now I don't mean to put you on the spot, Judy, but I don't think you have too many fosters, do you?
I don't use a lot of fosters because we're kind of one of those weirdo facility-based rescues. So the dogs are most all in my backyard. But occasionally I do use fosters, and usually it's for a medical case, or long-term kind of medical rehab sort of a thing, or sometimes a behavior issue that we need working on in a home kind of a thing. So I don't like my fosters all spread out all over the place because I'm really a hands-on kind of person, and I need to know all my dogs personally. So foster application is on the website. It's a little different than our adoption application. Sounds real similar to everybody else's. We do a lot of checks on that. I also have to throw in PACFA laws. So they must qualify under PACFA also. So, and if anybody doesn't know that, it's Pet Animal Care Facilities Act. It's a part of the Colorado Revised Statutes, which is under the Department of Agriculture in Washington. And we're one of the weirdo states that has PACFA laws. So it's good, and it's a pain in the butt, and it's good. So
Colorado ranks in the top 5 for having good animal protection laws. Right.
and it's probably because of PACFA.
Mm-hmm.
So from a rescue point of view, it's a government bureaucracy full of paperwork. But from a do good for dogs kind of view, it's actually a really good thing.
All right.
So,
Okay. Now, we've been noticing that every one of these rescues, all 4 of you, have been inundated recently with puppies. Okay. How do you handle puppy adoptions? Linda, you're up top.
Puppy adoptions.
They're not spayed and neutered and stuff is probably what we're getting at here.
They're not spayed and neutered. They do go out on contracts. And I do tell everyone we do check up on those. We have. So I don't want anybody to think that we don't. We absolutely do. Puppies, yeah, they're pretty much adopted out the same as an adult dog in the sense that we look for the same kind of adopter. But, we also make sure that they're aware too. Look, you're looking to adopt a puppy. Are you ready for the chewing? The potty training, and I don't discriminate against age, but, when someone's really up there in age and wants to adopt a puppy, I usually don't approve those. I don't approve them into apartments. Because they could be destroyed and, then the tenant's in trouble and the puppy has to go somewhere else. So there's no straight answer for me on that, Steve. It's okay. Case by case with me.
All right. Carol.
Yes.
Oh, you got puppies now too.
Yeah, 10, I think, spread
10.
out. Yeah, some are in Lewiston, Idaho. They came from Utah, but they're in
Now, what do
Idaho.
you do about the fact that they're spayed? They're not spayed and neutered. Do you have a special contract like Linda does for spaying and neutering?
We use the same contract, but we add something in there that they have to sign that says they agree to spay or neuter their puppy.
Okay.
And we put by the end of the first year. I don't know
Okay.
how others do it, but we figure
We
that's
do that
long enough.
too.
Yeah. What's your requirement on spay and neutering, Linda? I think it's between 10 and 12 months.
Yeah, and we always prefer that they, when I talk to the adopters, I talk to all my adopters, I prefer that they wait a little longer if they can. And they're always good with that. Most of our adopters have pure experience. So, they'll ask me, can we wait a little longer? Absolutely. I'm not a stickler to my contract. I will approve that. Yes.
Right. Malish,
Yes.
you have 33 puppies.
At least. At
Well,
least.
that makes you, boy, from the outside looking in, that make you almost look like a breeder instead of a rescue.
No, that would be 3 moms that gave birth within 5 days of each other.
Oh, dear.
2 litters of 10 and a litter of 9
Oh my gosh.
in 5 days.
Oh, no.
And then the bad part, we just brought one in a week and a half ago, and she's pregnant. I'm just,
Oh, boy.
I mean, pretty much every female in Texas, if they're not spayed, they're pregnant. I mean, it's just horrific here.
What's your requirement? What do you do? For
We
puppies?
actually pediatric spay and neuter. Because of the volume we do, there's no way that we could keep up and make sure. And while I agree it's not the best thing, I don't want to contribute to the problem. And the other thing we used to do, the contract, we had a lot of vets removing dew claws. And, yeah, that was, it was like,
Trigger words.
and I mean, when you're dealing with 33 puppies, we cannot keep up with,
I
5
understand that.
It's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, sure.
We
Absolutely.
we adopted out 400 and just under 450 last year.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of dogs.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right. How many foster homes do you have?
We have quite a few foster homes, but they don't all have a dog at one point. We probably have about 40 or so in Texas and probably about 40 in the Northwest, but they don't all have a dog, at this
But
time.
at least you've got somebody in reserve in case you have
Right.
an emergency. Yeah.
Well, no, they take breaks. Like some of them take one this time and then they take a break and then take one the next time, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we've got some
Okay.
good fosters. We definitely need more fosters.
Right.
Especially I've got some very shy dogs that I would love to get somebody to foster, and they will come around so much better if they have that one-on-one and they get into foster home.
Yep.
Know.
All right. Judy, you had a weird situation here not too long ago. You had a female dog that came in. She had a spay appointment on Monday. She started having puppies on Saturday?
Yeah. She was so
I feel for you.
incredibly- She was
And
so
then-
skinny.
Yeah.
And
No,
You don't
see,
even know.
she came from
You don't
Texas.
even know they're pregnant. I know.
Oh,
Yeah, she was actually only about 50 pounds. And
oh no.
honestly, she saw a vet in Texas who gave her house cert. And then I took her to a vet here in Colorado, and neither one of the vets picked up on the fact she was pregnant. We thought that she had already had her puppies and that they had gotten lost or picked up or killed or something.
Then I hear a rumor that they had people in Texas looking for puppies too.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were looking all over for her puppies and could never find them. And so we were told she already had puppies.
Yeah.
So I went
on
ahead and
that
made it.
Saturday, Judy says, found them.
Actually, Nancy was at the kennels, and I have walkie-talkies for my volunteers. And she called us and she said, "Oh my God, you need to get down here. I think Trudy just had a puppy." And I said, "What?" And she was in labor for 9 hours and ended up with 13 puppies. And miraculously, they all survived. And she was the most amazing mama ever.
Well, that was your baker's dozen, right?
Yeah, she was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your process on adopting out the puppies? Do you do anything different?
Well, we've got PACFA to deal with. So I actually had to go to PACFA with all the medical literature and all the studies about large breeds and not spaying and neutering, because PACFA requires all rescues here to make sure that the puppies are spayed or neutered within 30 days after adoption.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't want to do that. So I actually had to go to PACFA and ask for an exemption on that, which they granted to me because I am only a large breed rescue. So now we have to go through this complicated process of the people were supposed to get a note from their vet saying when the vet thought it was a good time. And we charge $125 spay and neuter deposit. And they get that refunded back to them when they actually give us paperwork showing the dog has been spayed or neutered. But to get that exemption, they have to take their dog to a vet, get a note from their vet, give it to us so we can put it in the dog's folder saying that the vet recommends that they wait till the dog is 12 months, 18 months, whatever. And so it's weird, but that's kind of how we do it.
All right. I'm actually going to bring up a question from a viewer. Andrea, more of a statement along with a question. The question would be a veterinary question. Okay. So, and she was mentioning off of your comment, Melise, that you did the pediatric spay and stuff. And her question was, does spay and neuter early cause problems because they grow so fast? And she said hers, a year old, has luxating patella requiring surgery, but the rescue in Idaho, thank you for adopting from a rescue. They had him neutered before she got him. So, and she agrees, she knows it's tough, but man, with the 400 dogs and 33 puppies, I get it. That would be a tough one.
Texas is a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah. Until you've lived through this state, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different country.
Yeah, we could supply every rescue in the country, and they would be mind-boggling how many. I mean, I turn down dogs every single day. I mean, it is just. I mean, I could probably get 20 to 30 dogs every single day, and I'm not kidding you. I mean, that's how many there are here. I mean, it's just we try to focus on certain shelters in certain areas, and I mean. They're just, it's just mind-boggling how bad the problem is.
All right. Linda.
Well,
go ahead, Roman.
I want to add something. I know it's not very common in US, in Europe it is. If you have to spay and neuter your dog, usually they put you on post-spay and neuter supplements to help with the hormonal, especially for young dogs who are growing. Plus, we have to do food adjustments and nutritional adjustments to come up with a balanced nutritional plan, so those dogs still have strong organs and strong ligaments and strong body growing without having any other issues.
Well, okay, good. All right. Linda, do you take working dogs? And part 2, do you place working dogs on farm?
I typically do not take working dogs. We're a companion rescue. Have I taken working dogs? Yes, I have. And I've also adopted out working dogs, which is a different process than our companion applications. I don't like to, but there have been situations where I had to. So, adopting out to working farms, it's just not my thing. I mean, I'm more comfortable with a companion Pyrenees than I am working Pyrenees.
And then what happens if the dog doesn't work out?
Yeah, it's just something I don't want to get into, Steve. So I don't typically, and sometimes working breeds too. I always say when a dog's out there working, and they're running off or doing this. I mean, whose choice was it for them to be out there? It wasn't theirs. So,
All right, Carol, do you take working dogs and do you place on farms?
We do, yeah. We have an LGD application, and we also take them and place them as companion dogs if we don't have any place else to put them as a working dog anyway.
Yeah, you're in Montana too, and you cover Montana.
Yeah.
Wow. Melise, same question.
We take tons of LGDs and I ruin them. We make
You
them
ruin them, you said?
Yeah, we ruin them. We make them house dogs. we make them. You know what? GD complain about getting on the sofa. Okay, they're just like, no, I don't want to be out there. I mean, they generally, it's rare that a dog doesn't want to come in and be with the family. I mean, we refer people that want an LGD in Texas to, Bluebonnet or another rescue that has, because you've got to test the dog with all these animals and make sure they're okay. And, you've got to know what you're doing to place a working dog. And I don't know what I'm doing. So why would I do it?
So you make couch potatoes instead.
I ruin them. I've ruined plenty of LGDs, as the LGD people would say.
Yeah. Judy, do you take them and adopt them?
Yeah, I will take them in. Rarely do we get a good LGD in.
Okay.
Because they're valuable to the people that have them and they don't get rid of them.
That's right.
What I end up with is all the failed livestock guardian dogs. Yeah. And I won't send them out to do that again. Yeah. And I will not adopt puppies or anybody else out to be an LGD if they haven't had experience with it before, because people do not understand that these dogs need to be trained to do that job. Everybody seems to think that they just got this automatic instinct and you just toss them out with the chickens and it's all going to be good. And it doesn't work out well,
Yeah.
So I honestly, 98% of the dogs coming out of here are going to be companion pets. But once in a blue moon, I actually do get a good working livestock guardian dog because the farmer died or they got rid of the farm or whatever. And I don't mind sending them out if they're good at their job. I don't mind sending them out to be an LGD again. It's just that I rarely get good ones. So,
right.
So I'm not in the business of handing out a perfectly decent dog for somebody else to screw up. So
Susan has a question: why are so many Pyrenees just thrown away? Why are there so many? That's kind of a multiple answer there.
Well, I mean, Judy explained it in part. She explained it in part.
They're not for everybody.
They're not. There's a lot of failed livestock guardian dogs out there, and then what happens? They're left to stray, or they're turned into rescue. They're put on Craigslist. They're up on free sites. That's why there's so many. And people don't research this breed either. I mean, this breed's not for everyone. If you can't take the barking and the digging and the roaming and all the things, the size and everything that comes with the Pyrenees. They're the most adorable little puppies you ever seen in your entire life.
For Christmas.
But then they grow.
If they just be ugly puppies, we'd be all right.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's what keeps them alive.
Yeah, they're just adorable puppies, and people just don't understand. Oh, I got myself a set of Pyrenees. I'm going to put them out on my farm, and the next thing they're 8-9 months old. And they're like, can you come get these dogs? They're killing my chickens. Yep. I guess they are. Did you train them? No, it's not all instinctual. They have to be trained. That's a really big part of the problem. At least it is for us in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I talked to somebody the other day, and the analogy I used was, I'm going to give you a scalpel, go do heart surgery. Well, I can't do that. Wait a minute. You're human. A human does heart surgery. Same scenario. They have to be taught. Okay. There are instincts, okay, but they got to be taught. And there's good resources to teach them. We have Natalie up at Northwest Guardians in Montana. There, you guys have down in Texas, Blue Bonnet has somebody.
Blue Bonnet.
that works with them. Okay, so all right, let's move on to the next question. Why? Start with Linda. Why are we so picky? You could probably answer for everybody. Why are we so picky with our dogs? Why can't you be like a shelter?
Yeah, that's not going to ever happen. And there are some good shelters out there, by the way.
There are.
Because we see them come in, and for us, I'm speaking for our rescue, just our rescue. We see them come in. We have a daily, I can't think of the word. So in other words, we get to really know our dogs very well. And for me, every dog that comes into my rescue is my baby. Even though I haven't met a lot of them, I still care about them. Like they're my own personal dogs, and they came from really bad situations. And I guarantee that they will never go through that again. So my adopters have to be, I always say, the best of the best to adopt one of my dogs.
Carol.
Yes.
Probably a very similar answer, isn't it?
I forgot
why are you so picky about where your dogs go?
Oh, that question. Yeah,
that question.
because we don't like getting them back when something has happened to them again. We got them in the first place because of something that happened to them. We don't want to see it again.
Melise, you have a pretty good size rescue. Linda, I've witnessed this. These are her dogs personally. Okay. Man, you moved 400 dogs last year. That gets tough to be.
450. Yeah. But you'd be surprised. People will tell me, "Oh, do you remember this dog from 5 years ago?" And I remember it. I mean, people are, and they're my babies. I mean, they're my babies, every one of them. And I, if somebody wants to return a dog, and I take it personally, I do. I'm like, how can you not? It's like when somebody says something about your kids, it's kind of the same thing. If you don't like my dog, I'm like, are you kidding? I'm pissed, I love my dog. How can you not love my dog?
I know.
Hey, I don't have any beepers here, so watch your language.
I'm sorry.
Now, Judy, you're in every dog is with you physically.
Yeah, they truly are my babies because I sit in their kennel with them and pet them and love them every day. But pretty much the same answers. We got them from a bad situation. I want to make sure that they are in a forever home, in a much better situation than they've ever lived in before. And I hate getting returns.
Yeah.
And so if you don't adopt them outright, they're going to come back. And that's not good for me. That's not good for the dog. There's so many reasons. So it pays to be really picky. In fact, I just pissed off 2 people in the last 2 days because I turned them down. And they're mad.
Turned them down.
Yeah, one didn't have a fence at all. And the other one wants a dog that's going to live in her backyard all the time. And she's got a 4-foot fence. And I said, that's not going to fly. The dog will fly over it. Oh, that's okay. We got a 6-foot little kennel in the back. And I said, but the dog, if it isn't able to run around in the acreage with the 4-foot fence, then you're going to put it in this little dog run for the rest of its life?
It makes totally sense.
No, I don't want a dog living in a little cage the rest of his life. No.
Yeah.
And she's upset about that. But
yeah. Now, Jeff, he has a Texas dog, and she is wonderful. Now, with Jeff, I can support that. That's one of the dogs that I gave him a little piece of advices on. So, hi, Jeff. I hope everything's good with her. Now, Look, we got another one here.
I have a question.
Julie has a comment. She says Melisse is their hero. Saved so many babies. Julie, I agree, but I'm going to tell you something right now. In my opinion, everyone up there are my heroes. Okay, they said you think about the combined number of dogs they have. They all save the same dogs. Okay, same breed. So yeah, you're all my heroes. I've known Melisse longer than I've known probably Carol and Melisse. I've known you guys longer than Judy and Linda. But you know what? It doesn't make any difference because you guys all do the same thing. And thank you all for not going to the funny farm every Friday, okay? Because that's a hard job. I'm going to tell you. This is a very hard job, okay? And there's nothing easy about this. And so now let's move forward here onto the next question. Fencing. Do you guys, there's two parts. What is your fencing requirements? I think Judy just covered a little bit of that with her. And do you allow invisible fences? Linda, you may as well start. You're already laughing and shaking your head.
We do like to see 6-foot privacy fencing, but for me, it's always a case by case. I have 4 Pyrenees that wouldn't challenge a 4-foot fence. And I know this. They're my dogs, my home. I know how they are. So it's always a case by case with me. And as far as invisible fencing, done. App in the trash. No, we don't allow invisible fencing. It doesn't work for Pyrenees, and it's not good for them.
And it doesn't keep the threat out either. So
It doesn't keep the threat out. And when your dog goes through it and is too scared to come back, then you got a lost Pyrenees.
Carol, what about your rescue? Do you what's your fencing requirements, and do you permit invisible fences?
On the invisible fence, we have had a couple of dogs that came into us that had been on invisible fences. And in that case, if somebody had applied for them that wanted to use that, then we would have let them. But otherwise, no. And as far as the fence, I have a 4-foot fence. My dogs don't know they could go over a 4-foot fence. And like people that are adopting puppies, especially, I kind of think if they have a good solid 4-foot fence, that it's okay. But it's a
I
case.
agree, Carol.
Yeah.
Yes, it depends on the dog and the dynamic.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Please, what's your
It's case by
requirement?
case. Mhm.
What's yours? And
Ours is a little different because I've been doing this a long time. And we have generally 5 foot is best per se. Generally, most peers won't go over a 5-foot fence. 6 is better, obviously, 6-foot wood fence. But I've had some dogs that could scale a 6-foot wood fence.
Mhm.
So what do you do in that situation? We put them as apartment dogs, and they do great.
Leash only, yeah.
So then it's unusual, but then I require them to go into a townhome or an apartment. So they have to walk them because I mean, at one time I had 3 dogs that could scale a 6-foot wood fence, and it was going to be the death of me. I was just like, I mean, there was this one dog, Peanut, and he literally, I mean, it was double fenced. He went over one and then went over the other one. And I was like, oh my God. And I'd get in my car, go chase him down. And then I'd come back around and he was sitting in the front yard. Where you been? I mean, Peanut just drove me crazy. And I was like, thank God. And he went into a townhome and he did great. So generally, 5 to 6 foot fence is ideal, but it's not
once
all
again, case by case, right?
Yeah, it's case by case. And like if I have an application that has a 4-foot fence, the problem is I don't really have any 4-foot fences. I have 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot, and 8.5 foot. So
Maureen ran into a situation and she put coyote rollers on hers.
Mhm. Yeah.
If there's no handhold, there's no really
Right,
going
right.
over. Because Piers are climbers, not necessarily. They really look silly when they try to jump, don't they?
Yeah.
You actually answered part of that. You want to elaborate more on yours, Judy?
We ask for a 5 to 6 foot physical sturdy fence.
Mhm.
Sometimes the building material can be different, but I don't mind if it's 6 foot chain link or 6 foot privacy fence or whatever. But we ask for 5 or 6 foot. Don't put up with electronic underground invisible fencing because they don't work. Piers will run right through it eventually, and then it'll never work again. And I don't really ever do anyone that has no fence.
All right.
I just don't trust the dogs at all.
That's right. They're wanderers, okay?
They are.
And then the escape artists, many reasons, okay? As Roman will tell you too, that we sometimes accidentally, without targeting it, make them want to stay home because the dog actually wanted to stay home, but he didn't have a reason, so over they go, okay?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I have accidentally fixed escape artists more than, or, healed that more than I've targeted. So, relationship. Now, wow, we got some big, long comments. And Andrea, we can't cover legislation, okay? That's just not what, we can't do that as rescue. We actually agree to not do that when I get the 501c3. So, yeah, I agree, Genevieve. Thank you guys for your endless dedication. And, that takes a lot. And then I'll tell you what, these ladies right here see more than what any of us ever will behind the scenes. Okay. They see more pain and suffering. And on the same time, they get to see also the happy stuff too. Okay. But I'll tell you that you'll never believe what they see. Okay. So hard to get a dog. Yep. I back them up 100% because you don't see what they see. So, and foster failing. Yeah, that's good, but we still need fosters. And that leads up to the next question. Linda, we'll start with you. Your rescue. What do you need the most of in your rescue? If you had to single, say, one or two things out, what would you say?
I would say fosters.
Okay.
We have an overwhelming amount of dogs that need to come in. I believe that we're the only breed-specific rescue in Missouri. Certainly not as much as Melise, but I have, 10 calls a day sometimes, people wanting to surrender their dogs, and emails from different shelters in the area. I mean, even as far as Arkansas and Iowa and such, we get, them wanting us to take dogs. We're only one rescue. We don't have that many fosters. We do the best that we can. And we definitely need fosters for sure.
Okay. Yep. Carol.
Same thing, definitely. We're desperate for fosters, both in Utah and in Montana.
Wow.
We end up having to board a lot of our dogs.
Wow. Melise, same question.
Fosters, but also volunteers. We have, the volume, I don't think people really realize how much work it is to place one dog. I've kind of worked out, over the years about approximately how much time it takes a volunteer time to place one dog. And it's about 30 hours. When you talk all the transport to the foster, transport to the vet, getting the dog ready for transport, coordinating the adoption. Our adoption screeners, we have almost like 20 or so, and they are busy. They cannot keep up. And we try to limit their applications to 5 per person. And it's just, we cannot keep up, trying to get through all the applications and, and they spend a lot of time with our applicants, talking about the breed, going through the traits of the dog and, what we kind of teach them about peers. Even if they've had a peer, we still go over, because they may have had a super cupcake dog. And, some of these rescue dogs can be kind of tough, but as long as you spend the time and take it slow and read the dog, then you end up with a wonderful dog. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah. Now, yours is a little different. What do you need the most of with your rescue?
Well, honestly, I would take some fosters in the El Paso County, Colorado area, because I have way more dogs coming at me than we can handle. So I would take some local fosters, but I can always use volunteers out at the rescue. I mean, they constantly need their kennels cleaned, water buckets changed, poop scooping. We got 5 acres to clean up. It's a lot of work, So, I can always use fosters, and of course donations on our Chewy and Amazon wish lists. I usually have treats, collars, leashes, harnesses, different dog supplies that we constantly go through. But probably I would take some local fosters, and I would also take volunteers.
All right. Wow, that was kind of unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of these rescues in different parts of the country all need the same thing. They need fosters, and that's kind of interesting. They needed fosters over donations. Ain't that something? Because, fosters make it happen, but at the same time, the donors make it possible. So it's kind of hand in hand. That was really, really interesting. There's been some very good comments. Every one of you has gotten a lot of positive feedback here on this show so far, and we really, really, really want to appreciate. We really appreciate everybody that's viewing this and supporting the rescues and learning things. There's a lot of information here, and between these 4 women, these 4 founders. These are the best of the best out there. They save a lot of dogs, and they may do things a little bit differently, but in the end, they do the same thing. Okay. Melise covers a lot of territory. Linda's in a very hard state. Okay. Carol's got one of the hardest states in the country. Okay. That she covers. Judy, she brings Texas dogs up too, or COVID, right? I think you're still working with that.
I've got a lot of dogs from Melise over the years.
I was just going to say, you and Melise know each other in that respect. Wow, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of starstruck here, you guys, just so you know. I've always looked up to Melise. I've always looked up to Carol. Linda, she's amazing. She runs a very tight family ship. Okay. And that is amazing. And she doesn't want to become a big rescue like Melise, because that kind of loses the tightness. But yet Melise, every time I work with one of her dogs, and it doesn't matter where it is, in Washington or California or Arizona, she knows that dog.
I do.
Okay, she does.
I have an incredible memory.
I believe it, Melise.
People are like, how do you remember this?
I think,
and I can tell you about the dog's personality. If like. Yep,
she does too.
I know, I did. I mean, I know the dogs. I know my dogs, and
Yep. And Linda, she's no slouch when it comes to this breed either. Carol and Judy, you guys, this is all you work with. You know your breeds, and there's so many times I'll hang up the phone with Linda, and I'll say, "Damn, she was listening."
Do you guys ever venture out of your breed? I tend to venture out towards like mastiffs and cane corsos and pit bulls?
Well, I had 2 lab mixed puppies dumped on me right around Christmas time, so I place them. I'm not gonna. Well, in Texas, the new rule is that because the shelters are so full, and this is with every breed, so what they're doing now is you make an appointment to bring the dog in if you found a stray. And I called earlier this week because somebody found a pure mix. And I said, well, you got to run it through animal control, make sure the owner's not looking for it. It's neutered, it's in good shape. The first appointment available was March 14th.
Oh my.
Wow.
So what are they supposed to do? So what are they supposed to do with that dog? And you know what animal control is telling people in Texas? Let it go.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've
God.
heard that, Melissa. I've heard
It's
that they are
true.
saying that.
It's in my county, and
Turn it away.
disgusting.
Yes.
It's just repulsive. Let the dogs starve on the street, get hit by a car. I mean, it's mind-boggling. And
we're told here in Missouri, they just tell them to shoot it.
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard that one too. Yeah.
Utah
Well-
has some horrible laws. They're not even allowed to pick up a dog, a peer. If you see one out on the road and pick it up, you can go
Oh.
to jail. I mean, it's
Really?
ridiculous.
Wow.
Well, in Texas,
Gosh.
the only way to get legal title is to let it go through the shelter, and when
Right.
but what do you do if the shelter won't take them?
Right.
No. What do? You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And here's a nice person that picked the dog up off the street. They brought it to the vet, to get all of its shots and heartworm tested. And they're boarding the dog at their cost. They've spent $400. What are they going to do? Wait
Wow.
till March 14th to drop. That's why we're in such need of fosters, because,
There's some crazy laws.
Mhm.
Oh,
Carol, what is the
ridiculous.
reason for that? What is the reason? I mean, why is that against the
Why
law?
is
For Carol?
I mean,
Carol?
in Utah, because the legislatures there are ranchers, mostly ranchers, or have friends who are ranchers, and those are the dogs that in the past we would take in because someone would find them half dead along the road and bring them in. And now they've adopted these laws that make that illegal to do. But the only way they can come to us now is through the shelter or an owner release, I guess, owner surrender.
Right. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That
It
is crazy.
really
But it's the
ridiculous.
law.
It is
Yeah.
the law.
That's the law.
Yeah.
So anyway, wowzer. So once again, for any new people that signed in here, we need somewhere in the Missouri area, we sure could use a pit bull rescue. Okay. Back to the Linda talking about other breeds, and I kind of heckled her a little bit in the beginning, and it was kind of like she shut me up. Don't they deserve to live too? That was her response. So
Mhm.
I'm breed specific, but if a dog needs me, I'm going to be there if I can.
right.
Yeah.
And another thing about Missouri rescues, the Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri, okay, similar to Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. We're based in Missouri, but not limited to Missouri. Okay. Melise, you cover Texas and all the way across up to the Pacific Northwest into Washington, right?
Yes.
All right.
The majority of our adoptions are Oregon and Washington.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, so that is your adopting area for
Most of it, but we still adopt in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California.
Okay, cool. And we we've adopted to Maryland and I forget where all. If we can get that transport out there, then you just might be able to get a dog from Linda. So
Well, we took a couple dogs to California too.
oh, that's right. And they were working dogs.
Buddy and
in
Snowflake. Mhm. They
For
replaced
those-
Odin. Mhm.
and I'll give you just a brief story but in Snowflake, back in 2017, when Northern California burnt to the ground, called the Tubbs Fire, there was a dog that made the news and Steve Harvey show. His name was Odin the Wonder Dog. Okay. And he stayed back, and they couldn't catch him. And he stayed back with the goats, and the goats and Odin survived. And well, what was it? Earlier in, was it April of 2021, Odin passed away.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and Linda sent Buddy and Snowflake. She got them from a farm with the same livestock, and she actually donated those dogs and the transportation. So, and I never could. I remember why you did it. Like, oh, Tessa was exhausted. They work in teams. The team member was now alone, trying to.
Tessa was grieving, and she was tired. Yeah.
She was exhausted.
So, Buddy and Snowflake to the rescue.
Yeah, we did a show with them, covered them, and everybody got to meet Roland and Ariel, the people, the owners of Odin, the Wonder Dog, or Odin Hero. What they call him? Something. It was Odin was his name.
Yeah,
So,
Odin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Steve Harvey was afraid of him. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him on the show, and I was looking at Odin. I'm looking at Steve Harvey, and I'm saying Steve Harvey is going to get his butt bit, okay, if he doesn't turn his head. Wow, what a show! You know, ain't this something? And I actually forgot something that probably get in trouble with. You guys got 3 minutes to type into the comments, hashtag GPRM. We're going to do our giveaway drawing. We advertised it. We're going to do it. Hashtag GPRM into the comments, and we will do our giveaway drawing. And I don't have it here, but it's going to be we'll give away a Martingale Collar again. All right. Martingale Collars, if you're not aware of them, these four ladies here will understand what I'm saying. If you're walking your Great Pyrenees and they hit the brakes and slam it in reverse, anybody that's experienced that with a standard flat collar, they're out of that collar and your dog's gone. The Martingale Collar reduced that risk by about 98%. Okay. So, and we're going to give one away again tonight. So hashtag GPRM, let's get it entered, and you have the opportunity to win a Martingale Collar. So, and tomorrow, thank you, Melise, for reminding me. Tomorrow, Roman's here, and thank goodness, Roman has a puppy. Speaking of puppies, tomorrow Roman has a puppy class coming up.
A puppy parenting class.
Puppy parenting class.
We don't train puppies, we train
fosters,
parents.
fosters. This would be great. And I think I have a link here too, don't I, Roman? Yes, I do.
I'll post it in the group. Ta-da! It's in there.
Oh, you got it in there? Okay, good.
It's just uploading. It's a long link.
I don't see it yet. So there it is right there. You're in. Okay, so and there's not much notice here, okay, but I tell you what, usually when Roman when if you listen to what Roman has to say, you can't go wrong, because it may not apply now, but you may run across it later and it's going to say, ding, I remember what he said, let me try that. So hashtag GPRM. Okay, we got our drawing coming up here in just about, we'll give you about 30 seconds to get it in. All right. So, and we'll get some more comments up here. And,
well, meanwhile, while people, typing in, we're going to address feeding. We're going to address proactive and active parenting rather than reactive. We're going to address socialization. We're going to address, most of them are guardian breeds and large breeds we're going to focus on. We're going to discuss about trauma and trauma prevention, breed-specific timelines for life stages, so we understand what's coming up next. Okay, and it's even if you have a dog and not having a puppy, you learn a lot in that class. It's a parenting class. It's just more specific for puppies because puppies from, let's say, from 8 weeks officially up to 16 months, that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah.
And if you cannot make it, you can get a recording copy of that, so you're good.
And Melissa has 33 puppies. I'll tell you what, puppies is,
Well, our fosters.
I have
them at
so much,
fosters of them.
yeah,
But-
I have so much respect for puppy fosters, okay? Because I can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
So anyway, all right, we're going to start the giveaway drawing. And like that, let's do that way. I love this platform. All right, everybody, here we go.
Ah, cool.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. It's
You
cool.
like that, Annalise?
That's neat. I've never seen this.
Sam,
Sam.
Yay, Sam.
congratulations, Sam. You won yourself Martingale Collar. Shoot, I can almost drive it to you, but you're just a little too far away. All right, Sam. Thanks for joining us, Sam. And you won. I like that. Send me an email or a message. I think we're there on Facebook. So, foster homes. How do we do it? We go to GPRescue.com. We go to. I don't have. I got caught here, and I didn't put. I may have Carol's. No. What's your website address, Carol?
I don't know.
How about Great Pyrenees Rescue of Montana? Okay.
Yes,
It's rescue groups address for.
that's
Great
it.
Pyrenees.
Yes, at rescue groups.
And Melise is Great Pyrenees Rescue
Rescue Society.
Society.
Correct.
Okay. Judy,
GPRescue.org. Right below
PureRescue.org.
me here.
Right there. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And if it's happening, that's where it's happening. Okay. And you can apply, you can donate, you can look around, you can learn about the breed. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on these 4 websites. Okay. And
We need puppy fosters in Washington and Oregon in about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and we're going to have 33 puppies coming up in pairs. We bring them up in pairs.
Yes, thank you.
We keep them as pairs.
Yeah.
Don't.
I think all of the rescues do for a certain amount of time. Yes.
Well, they're like 10 to 12 weeks before they leave, and then we keep them for at least a week in the foster home so they have something familiar with them. Because everything else in their life's changing. We want to keep a sibling with them for a little bit of time so they feel more comfortable.
Well, they learn things too.
Yeah.
They learn that those needle teeth actually hurt because the sibling gives it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true. Right.
Yep.
We feel.
I think we're all in agreement too. I mean, Carol, Melise, Judy. I think we all let our pups go between 10 and 12 weeks. I never let mine go before that.
No.
No, I know everybody sees our cute little, they're 3 weeks old, and I'm like, you're not going to get a puppy at that age. They've got to stay with their mom. I mean, I keep them with their mom at least 7. I like 8 to 10, with their mom, if at all possible. It's not always,
if possible. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol.
Because a lot of times we get puppies and no mom. So
and that, we get that too.
Yeah, thank goodness Peru knows your web address.
I know.
You know you're not going to live that one down, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was reading the stuff over here.
Jeff, we've had a lot of fun up here, as you can see. This was hopefully relaxing, except for with these 4 ladies. We probably kind of distracted them, and now they got to do double work to catch back up. That's how rescue works. Right?
Thank you for giving me a week.
Yes. Well, I understand. We all understand. We had to get schedules together. Right?
Yes.
And everybody, thank you for coming on. This was this was awesome.
Thank you for everything you do for us. I mean,
Um,
you're integral to our success as well. So
Absolutely.
Well, I just do what I can. That's all. You know, I'm a little limited, but hopefully here this coming year, unfortunately for you three down there, Carol and Melise and
Yes.
Judy, I might get a little busy here pretty soon.
yeah,
Because one of these days we're going to let everybody know something really cool out of St. Clair, Missouri, but just not quite yet. But anyway, Roman, thanks for coming on. And
Thank
thanks for
you,
that
Roman.
upbeat parenting
Thanks,
class.
Roman.
For
First of
everybody,
all,
we're going to have some
everybody.
new folks here, and because Stacy and Melise, they there's a lot of your folks on here that follow your page. And so those of you that don't know, Roman is he's behaviorist, and he just like a behavior should be: no force, no pain, no fear, and no exceptions. Okay, that's how that works.
that's the way it
right?
should be.
And there shouldn't be. So wow, and we got the comments are just pouring in. How do we say goodbye? You know, I don't know what to say, but we're gonna have to. So. We gotta. Why? Thank you, Mark. I'll thank you. It's nice to. It was nice to talk to you that night too. So anyway,
Somebody's coming.
everybody, thank you for joining us. Next week is going to be
Bye.
another good
Thank
show.
you. Thanks,
And maybe
Steve.
we
Thanks,
can-
Roman. Thanks, ladies.
Maybe we can get a founder on individually, and we can go a little bit in depth with their rescue, and we'll see. But we'll see how that goes. I know this takes up a lot of their time, and I got to shut up now. So, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we will
Thank
see
you.
you next week. And don't
See you
forget where we
tomorrow.
are. And
Right.
if
Oh,
you
yeah.
see abuse,
You
report
want to
it.
post the link to the training course?
Yeah,
It's in the
I
comments.
put it in the
Oh, okay,
comments
it's up
in
there. Okay.
all the
Yep,
comments.
it's in the comments.
Okay.
So, all right, everybody.
See
Bye
abuse,
now.
report abuse.